So to meet the Paris Agreement of limiting climate change to safe levels, we have to limit the amount of fossil fuels we burn. In fact, burning all current fossil fuel reserves would exceed the safe climate change limit. Now the big question is, if only some of these reserves can be burnt, how can the remaining fossil fuel budget be fairly allocated? So our research looked at two different approaches to allocating the remaining burnable fossil fuels to the producers. One is based on their production levels in 2010, and one is based on their fossil fuel reserves in 2010. The two approaches had very different results. One benefited the state-owned entities, who typically have very large reserves but relatively low production levels. The other benefited the investor-owned companies, who typically have high production levels but relatively low reserves. So what we found is that it really does matter how these allocations are decided. We already know by how much emissions need to be reduced to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. This research highlights the great challenge of allocating the remaining fossil fuel budget across the fossil fuel sector and reveals the implications to different producers. So really, we put numbers on the table to help kickstart a conversation on this topic.